Hello there, this is Deborah, and today I am making, as you can see, some creamy body wash. This is actually a luxurious body wash, and I will tell you why. Some of the ingredients I'm going to be using, this is SCI, which is also known as sodium coquelin isocyanate, which I'm going to chew up the words. I'm using some glycerin here. I'm using some silky emulsified wax. I'm using some cocoa butane, some argan oil, some titanium dioxide to give it a little more white color. I'm using some unprocessed honey, unfiltered, some aloe vera, which is 200 times the strength, which is actually 200 times a 200 grade of pure aloe vera, and some preservative. I've already cleaned my whole area, and this also, you definitely need a immersion stick blender. I'm going to be using all these spatulas I have here. I love them. I love myself some spatulas. I also have a temperature gauge to check the temperature. I have some face masks, two of them, for the the sodium isocyanate, because it's airborne. And I'm using some bottles here. These are plastic PVC free bottles. I have some extra little measuring cups here as well. Also, let's see, what else? I also have some distilled water. You can use distilled, purified, as long as it's not tap water, because you don't want those chemicals in your products. Let's see, my area is nice and clean. Okay, I have my famous stainless steel pan that I use for everything. I have my two pair of face masks because they're pretty thin. The sodium coquelin isocyanate, forgive me if I'm saying that wrong, which I am, I'm not pronouncing it correct. It's pretty airborne, so you definitely want to have a mask on. Once you mix all the ingredients in, there's no problem. But while they're still dry, as you can see, the little poof went up. If you breathe that in, it can cause some problems there. I've already found that out the hard way. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a face mask on. You can put a towel or something over it while you're pouring it in. I've done it that way too. But this is a small amount, so it should be fine. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and mix the first, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, first 6 ingredients together. This is a tutorial, so hopefully I'm telling you from step to step how I made this. As far as the recipe itself, you can find this recipe on Etsy. This is not my recipe. I wish it was, but it's not. But I did get permission to do this. Also, I will put in the description area where you can find this recipe if you like to make it. So, like I said, I'm adding all the first 6 ingredients together here. And another thing about this recipe, if you follow it exactly like it says, I do tweak it here and there, it will come out so awesome. This is a really creamy, luxurious body wash. And I love making it. I've ran out of it, so it's time to make it again. Also, I just made a big batch for a group of beautiful ladies having a conference down in my old hometown. And I hope they enjoy all the love that I put into making this body wash. It is so easy just to run to the store and buy body wash, but you don't know what you're getting. But I know exactly what's going into this body wash because I'm hand making it and I'm watching it to the T. And it feels good to me, and it's just so amazing and so awesome to make your own products. So if you've never made body wash or any of the handmade products, you might want to read up. It's not might want to. You do want to read up as much as you can. Do research. And just don't take it from here on YouTube. Go and purchase books, or just go and find more information on how to make products, especially if you're going to sell the products. Because there's a lot of more details, which I'm adding the titanium dioxide into this to give it the white look, more of a whiter look, because this is more of a tan look because of the dark aloe vera that I put in it. So once again, you just want to do your homework if you're going to get out there and really sell your products. If you're just doing it for fun, you still want to know all the ropes and in and outs of making products. If you don't want to make this product, please go to my website, www.aromadelightbeautycareproducts, and you will find this product here. And if it's not there, it will be up soon. Oh my goodness. Once I add all the products together, we're going to be going over to the stove in a little bit here, and I will talk more about that when we get to that point. Once again, I can't stress enough about having a nice, clean environment. Alcohol-free, you want to wash down your area with bleach, put a little alcohol. Just clean your work area. Sterilize it really good, because these are products that you definitely don't want to get contaminated. Let's see. I'm trying not to leave out anything here, because and my preservative, I will be adding it once we get to the third phase of a cool down phase, because if we put the preservative in too soon, it will burn off, and we'll talk more about that as we get closer to that process. Okay, I'm just basically mixing everything together, and here we are over at the stove, and I'm right now adding the hot water, which you want to get your hot water up to like 140. Actually, it could be a little bit hotter, because when you put the hot water over into the other ingredients, it helps to emulsify it really good. Right now it's really grainy, but as it cooks, and it takes about 30 minutes, so I have shortened this video so that you can sit through and enjoy this video, and I hope you stick around to enjoy it from start to finish. Like I said, I've shortened a lot of it, but it takes about 30 to 35 minutes for this process to really get really creamy and melt down all of the ingredients, because they're going to have a grainy filling until it's actually ready. So you want to make sure that all the grainy filling is gone, and we will talk more about that when we get to it also. I'm keeping my temperature at about 180, and like I said, you do want to use a double boiler so that your ingredients are not touching direct fire. So that's very important. If you don't have a double boiler, you can also take some little things that are lifted, like some little mason jar tops or whatever, metal tops, anything that'll lift your pan up away from the water so it's not touching directly, because you don't want to scorch it or burn it or overcook it. So I do recommend that. This is a makeshift pan that I've made myself. It didn't come that way, so you can just figure it all out. We are at that phase where it is completely finished, I believe, and I'm going to test it to make sure that it's not grainy, because if it's still grainy, it's not ready. So you just have to have patience and just make sure that you cook it long enough where it's nice and smooth. Can you imagine, or just kind of putting this on your body and it's all grainy? I guess it would be okay if you was doing an exfoliant, making an exfoliant, but this is not an exfoliant. This is exfoliant. This is actually smooth and silky and creamy. So that's the texture that you would want to shoot for. I'm going to be taking off my gloves and testing it. My hands are nice and clean. I've washed my hands, but I always like to test it with my bare hands. I like to make sure that it's nice and finished, it's smooth. There was a time I tested it with the gloves, and I just didn't feel the grain good enough, and it was kind of grainy. It was like, oh man, I didn't like that. So anyway, it's nice and smooth. That's the consistency that you would want. And like I said, just takes a little patience and a little time. And you want to do a real good job. Even if it's just for yourself or your family and friends, you still want to give it a lot of love and put all your best work into it. Okay, now we at the cool down phase. This is phase 3 or 4, I believe. This is the phase where you going to use your emerger to just emulsify it, bring it all together. And it's very important that you take your emerger and put it all the way down in the body wash, because if you don't, you're going to get a lot of bubbles, and it, for some reason, it just doesn't do right. I'm not sure why. I tried that before just to see what would happen. Knowing me, I did. And it makes a big difference when you put that emerger all the way down into your body wash. And you just want to give it small bursts at a time. You don't want to give it big bursts. You don't want to do a full emerge. Just small bursts in and out a little bit there. It calls for about 1 to 2 minutes. But I just kind of go by what it feels like to me, and how that's what you want to do. So let's see here. Yeah, just small bursts at a time there. And okay, so we got through with that phase. Now, if it still have a lot of bubbles inside, you can spray a little alcohol over it, and that will take the bubbles out. But if you just keep that emerger down, that helps too. And the bubbles do go away after a little bit, especially when it cools down. It's very important that you get rid of the bubbles, because it makes a big difference there. So you can see it's really starting to emulsify really good, starting to thicken up here. I'm going to be adding my preservative once it has cooled down enough to 110. If you, once again, we talked about that earlier, if you put your preservative in too soon, it will literally burn off the preservative. And it's not going to do you any good once it burns it off. And you definitely need the preservative, because anything with water can get a lot of fungus in it. And you don't want fungus in your products, not at all. So, and that's also a recommendation. It is required if you are making these products. These are products to be sold. I mean, if you're just going to put them in the refrigerator, that's a different story. But if you're going to sell these products, or you want long-lasting products, you want to put the preservative. This is a formaldehyde free preservative, and it's not a lot of preservative, and the molecules are not small that'll go directly into your bloodstream. These are big molecules, so they don't go into your bloodstream. Thank goodness for that. See the advantage of making your own products. You're really gonna, this is a win-win situation here. Okay, so moving along, I try to speed this video up a little bit because I want you to hang around and watch it from start to finish. So I have my I've already cleaned my area here. These are just different little containers, my bottles. These are PVC free bottles that I'm using, and they will stand up for a long time. My products, I only recommend my products for 1 year. Actually, the body wash for 6 months. There's a reason for that. You don't want to go any longer than that. You want to use the products. I did speed it up a little bit, as I was saying. I've already put it in the containers. Now, if you let it cool down too much, it's going to be really hard to get in the bottles. Trust me, I know. I've tried some of everything to get them in the bottles, but I put it in before it gets to that phase. As you can see, just check it out. This is really creamy and thick. These are some little samples that I like to send to my customers as well that didn't order this product. Okay, with further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get off. Thank you so much. Have an awesome and a blessed day. Bye now.